Story time about how I got diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer. Trigger warning, there is talk of blood and poo. So the story starts in about September, October of last year. I was taking semaglutide shots to lose weight. This isn't the first time that I did it. And started to get some weird side effects. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing this because around November, when I would use the restroom, there would be blood. Okay. So I was like, something's wrong with that. I shouldn't be bleeding. And so I was like, it must be this. So I'm going to stop. So I did. I continued going on with life, thinking that all of this stuff was going to just, end. Eventually, it was going to cycle itself outside of my body, and that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. So it continued. Like every time I would use the restroom, most every time I would use the restroom, there would be blood in my poo. And I was like thinking, again, it's a side effect, and it just hasn't gone through my body. Started Googling things, and Google was just killing me. And I was like thinking it could be Crohn's, it could be this, it could be this. So many things I thought it was. On the list of things was cancer, and I was like, I highly doubt that I have cancer. That's not what this is, because why would I have cancer? So around February, it started to affect me just in life, and I would start to feel sick, tired. I was tired a lot, like extremely tired. But it was like sometimes I just couldn't even get out of bed. I couldn't go to work because I just was not feeling well. I spent way too much time in the bathroom. There was blood still. And I was like, you know what? I need to figure out what's happening to me for real, because it can't be this anymore, because that's definitely out of my body. So I went to the ER in a hospital where I live. And basically they told me that, they couldn't tell me what was wrong with me, but they could have a referral to a specialist for me to get a colonoscopy. So I was like, great, let's do that. So in my mind, I'm thinking if something's wrong, this is an urgent matter. Like, I'm going to the bathroom and there's blood, and there shouldn't be. So the specialist finally calls me 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, and was like, okay, so, we want to schedule you for your colonoscopy. It's going to be in June. June. This is February. I was like, June. So in my mind, I'm thinking, if they're scheduling it all the way out into June, there can't be anything seriously wrong with me, right? Because why would they wait that long? It's February. They're like, we can't take you till June, so it can't be that serious. American healthcare, ladies and gentlemen. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll wait till June. Because I'm thinking they would know better than me. If it's urgent, I should be going now, but it must be not that urgent. So I'm like, maybe it's hemorrhoids, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so I continue living, or what some might call living. I was not feeling well. It was just like getting worse and worse and worse. But it was like a slow burn. It was getting worse, but it was like some days I'd be okay. Like I'd be totally fine. I could go to work and I wasn't uncomfortable. But then some days I was so uncomfortable in my own body, like I was just like, it was just getting bad. So now let's go to April. I'm doing a show. I'm doing the last 5 years. And the very last show, I started to feel I was like real bad. And by this point, when I would use the restroom, it was just blood sometimes. And I mean, like, not like a little bit of blood. I mean, it looked like someone was stabbing me in my behind. Like, there was so much blood. I started taking pictures of it because I was like, no, there's something definitely wrong with me. And so I told my co-star, I was like, you know what, I am not feeling well today, so I think I'm going to go to the ER after. And he was like, do you need me to, like, be gentle with you? Or not that he was throwing me around or anything, but he was like, do you need anything from me? And I was like, no, I'm just letting you know if I'm a little off, that's why. So all through that show, I was like, something's definitely wrong, but it's in the back of my mind because the show must go on. So after the show, I ended up not going to the ER because, one, I didn't want to go and have them have to be sitting in that ER all day for them to just send me home with some BS like, oh, we're going to give you a referral. No, I need you to figure out what's happening to me now. So I decided to do a telehealth phone call. So I called the doctor and told him all of the things that was happening to me and told him I had pictures and everything. And he was just staring at me like, what do you mean? Like, you need to go get a colonoscopy, like, right now. And he was like, so first thing in the morning, you go down to the ER at Kaiser in Fontana. I live in California. He's like, go down to the ER in Kaiser in Fontana, and they'll do the colonoscopy immediately. Like, tell them all the things you told me. And I was like, okay. So that's what I did. I packed a little backpack, and I had, like, books, my laptop, because I was ready to sit in the ER all day. So I check in. I probably sat down for maybe 10 minutes when they called me to do my blood work and stuff like that. And so they did my blood work. And when she took my blood pressure, she looked at me and she was like, girl, how are you alive? Your blood pressure is so high. And I was like, I don't know, I'm alive. So they take me into the, after this, I'm thinking I'm going to go sit back down into the lobby and wait for to be called. So they're like, no, come with us. So they take me into this room. This doctor comes in and he's like, he does like a little exam and he's like, okay, we're going to admit you to the hospital. And I was like, excuse me, what? And he's like, we're going to admit you. And you are going to drink this like 3 gallons of pure disgustingness, and you can't eat anything because you're going to get a colonoscopy in the morning. So I was like, whatever. I was upset because I hadn't eaten all day, so I was a little hangry, but I was like, you know what? I want to get this done so they can just send me home because I hate hospitals. I'm not a fan. I don't like being there. It creeps me out. It makes me sad. I just don't like it. Not a good energy for me. Sorry, my eye itches. So I wake up the next morning and they take me in to do the colonoscopy like first thing in the morning. You're under, drug. They put like, I forgot what it is that they give you, but I was asleep. When I woke up, the doctor was standing over me and I was, coming down from my little high, and he's like, I'm so sorry, but you have cancer. And I was like, what? And he was like, I don't think you're going to remember this because, of the drugs. He was like, but you have cancer. And I'm going to come and tell you this again later when I know you're more conscious. But, clearly I was conscious because I remember it. It feels like a dream a little bit, but I remember it. I remember like his face when he was saying it and everything. I remember it. It's burned into my memory forever. And he wheeled me over to this like nurse who was so empathetic. Like she was bawling crying because I was crying, but she was bawling crying. And I was like, we were just crying together. She's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, did he say that I have cancer? And she was like, yes. And I was like, what? Like, what? I was so shocked. I was like, this can't be real. Like, I have to be dreaming this. Cannot be real. Like, I do not have cancer. This can't be real. But it was really real. And over the next couple of days, I was in the hospital for 4 days. 4 days. And I did the CT scan and I did the MRI because they were checking to see if it was spreading through my body, which it wasn't, but it did get into my lymph nodes. But it did not spread, and it was just in one area. And so that was a relief. But then it was just like, I don't know, crazy. It feels like I got onto this like roller coaster that I just can't get off of. And from there, it just started flying. I'm like, I'm going to see surgeons. They're telling me they can't do surgery. I have to do chemo. I'm going to see the oncologist, and she's telling me I have to do 8 rounds of chemo. And then I have to do more rounds of just chemo and radiation. And then I can go back to surgery. So then I'm seeing the radiation doctor. And it's just like all these different doctors. And then I have to get a PICC line, and I can't get a port. And it's just continuing ongoing, but that's basically what happened, how I found out that I had stage 3 colon cancer. And it's a wild ride, and I hate this whole experience. And fuck cancer. That's all I gotta say.